Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and as we do every late Thursday night into early Friday morning, we react to the Thursday night game. This time it's Bengals, Ravens. There was definitely some players we were interested in going into this thing to see how they played. And then probably the star of it, AJ Green, 3 touchdowns right away, Jeff. And I was, like I said before we were talking, I feel like that's almost actually the way it started, slightly disappointing with his final outcome. I don't know. How do you feel as an AJ Green owner? Even though you can't be too disappointed, though, with 3 touchdowns.
No, I'm very, very happy. But at the same time, you're right. I mean, first half, you catch 3 touchdowns. And I know it's kind of like immediately you feel like, I'm going to take my foot off the gas. And I feel like that's what the Bengals did a little bit. But I mean, 3 touchdowns, I'm not going to, complain about it.
Yeah, be a little greedy if you do. So, yeah. I mean, he'll take it. But yeah, 5 catches, 69 yards, solid. But if that doesn't even matter. If they're just going to look for him all the time, trying to get touchdowns to him, that's all that matters. So it's going to be a pretty good year if they continue to do that. So Green, I mean, he's a wide receiver 1 every week. We know that. But, I mean, is Andy Dalton an option now?
I wouldn't jump to that conclusion.
Me either.
It's very unrealistic to think that he's going to throw that many touchdowns. I mean, I think, was this the first game Green has had 3 touchdowns? It was something like that. They flashed up on the screen. I have to actually go back and look. But it just doesn't usually happen. They've been playing with each other long enough, and Dalton's been playing long enough that I think you kind of know what he is. But it was great to see him actually do something today. But even with 4 touchdowns, which he had, he still barely broke 250 yards.
Yeah, and he really, after the first half, he really didn't do much. He only 24-42. It's Andy Dalton, but he's always had these kind of games before, though. It's in the realm of possibility for him to do this. It's just, not a guy you're going to trust, so I wouldn't read too much into it. Unless he starts, 2-3 years ago? When is that, where he actually became a fantasy option all year? It's always possible. We always could be overlooking him. If you got a healthy AJ Green, he's going to play the whole time. And, I mean, if he has a running back like Joe Mixon, maybe he could be a little better. Just fantasy-wise, I'm not saying he's that great of a quarterback.
Right. I mean, speaking of that, what did you think of Mixon's performance tonight?
I just, every time I watch Mixon, I feel like I'm watching somebody who's going to be a great running back. Every time. The numbers, it ends up 21 carries, 84 yards. That's not amazing, but that's pretty solid. And he battled through knee injury the whole time. He went out of the game twice. But the most probably, encouraging thing is just the amount of touches, the amount of carries he is getting right now. This wasn't happening last year. Getting 21 carries, even in 2 stretches where he wasn't in the game. He's going to be a running back 1, without a doubt. Top 10 guy for me rest of the year.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be up there. We'll see how this offense kind of progresses. I would love to see him get a little more work in the red zone. They threw it a lot, which is wonderful for me. But yeah, he looked good. He looked really, really good. And nothing has changed from week 1, really. And you're right. Even though he did miss, I don't really know, not a whole quarter, say, but he was out. And Bernard was in there doing well, but as soon as Mixon came back in, it was just a different type of running back there. And 21 rushes after battling through that, I feel really, really good about him. I think he is going to be excellent.
I do too. He just looks the part. He looks good every time. And then looks like Tyler Boyd was stepping up as the number 2 for the Bengals today.
He was probably the biggest surprise today. He looked really, really good. I don't know. Is this someone that all of a sudden we have to take note of?
You know what? He was a name a couple of years ago. He's only 23 years old.
He's only 23. Still very young. He's the number 2. Ross, unfortunately, didn't do anything kind of once again. Boyd looked really good. He was the other guy that Dalton was obviously looking to, finished with 6 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. And really, besides for 1 rocket pass that kind of went off his hands, the guy looked rock steady.
Well, we almost kind of forget that. Last year he battled some injuries and only ended up with 22 catches. But his rookie season 2 years ago, he had 54 catches for 603 yards and a touchdown, which he started that season. He was only a 21-year-old kid playing that year. pretty solid year. So maybe the injuries last year, them drafting John Ross, we kind of forgot about this guy. And he looked pretty solid. I'm not going to go overboard and say go pick him up even yet. Maybe if you have a deeper bench, you could throw him on there. I'm not going to necessarily, say that yet, but it's something to look at. I'm more probably interested in him right now than John Ross. I think John Ross is pretty droppable after 2 catches for 11 yards in 2 games. Probably.
Yeah, he's been very disappointing the first couple games.
So is Tyler Eifert. Not much going yet for him.
Yeah, they keep talking about putting him on a pitch count, which obviously they're using their other 2 tight ends, which obviously last year Croft filled in very admirably, and he's a fine tight end, and even their other tight end that I can't pronounce his name, he actually looked decent too. But I think Eifert will develop, and I think as long as he stays healthy, which is the giant if, right, and he gets more and more touches, I think he will become playable. They did go to him once in the red zone, threw it to him in the end zone even, and he, got a pass interference. They got down on the 1. So, I think he will eventually be usable, but they are being very, very cautious with him. So you're going to have to kind of wait and see. But unfortunately, with as talented as he is, if he's still out there right now, this would be the time to get him, because, as soon as he plays, 10 more snaps or catches a touchdown, everyone's going to kind of know what's up about him.
Yeah, I agree with that. You just keep him. I wouldn't, unless you have another tight end, maybe you don't need him as your second. But if he's your guy right now, I'm okay with it. Ride it out, see what happens. There'll be somebody else that comes along, or you can fill in somebody else. But Eifert's talented. There's not a lot of really good, talented tight ends out there right now anyway to grab. George Kittle was probably taken in all of your leagues this week. So he's not out there. There really isn't. Your next hope is maybe like a Jonnu Smith from Tennessee steps up, but you might Eifert's your guy. You probably have to go with it for a bit here. So I wouldn't worry too much. But how about the Baltimore side here? Joe Flacco threw for 376 yards and 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks, and it's just Joe Flacco.
Yeah, he finished with a fine ending stat line, if you will, for fantasy, 21.8 in standard. Threw it 55 times. Nothing feels good about that offense. I don't know. It just feels like you're forcing it. It doesn't feel like Flacco is going to make the correct throws. And to be honest, even 2 of those plays, which one of them went for a touchdown to John Brown, and then the other one was in the middle of the field to John Brown, neither of those really should have been caught. I feel like it was a little bit lucky, because one was underthrown. The other one was threading a needle when, once again, I think more luck than anything. But without those 2 passes, he has a very poor night. But I gotta give him credit. They did get through there. They were caught. Gave John Brown a very good stat line of 4 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. He looked good. I still don't believe in Flacco. But I think Brown was the most interesting offensive weapon they had.
He keeps looking good. He's not getting an abundance of targets yet, and he's not doing that yet. But he looks solid. He looks like, and if he can stay healthy, I think he's only going to get better. That's what's probably going to happen. He's just going to get better. And 2 games, it's very encouraging for a guy that you weren't having to spend anything to draft. And he had, touchdowns in both weeks, but then it's only 3 catches and 4 catches. That's the thing. You can't rely on the touchdown all the time. We need to get some more targets, get some more catches. You need to get up to 7, 8 catches a game to be somebody that you can trust. Because I have a hard time putting him in my lineup if he's only going to catch 4 balls. You just got to hope that touchdown happens. Especially
the way this Baltimore offense works. I mean, I shouldn't say that, because the entire wide receiving core is pretty much swapped out. But Flacco's still there, still the same, coaches. And last year they were really pitiful on, as far as passing goes. So I don't know how much is going to change. But I do have to say, between him and Crabtree, even though they were a little quiet because it's sporadic, but Crabtree as well, 5 catches, 56 yards, nothing to write home about. But, they're just kind of staying somewhat relevant. But I still don't really believe in Flacco.
No, and then Willie Snead's going to be getting these 4 or 5 catches a game too to take away make it so no one's really going to get too high of numbers. Snead went 5 for 54. Last week he went 4 for 49. So he's involved. Buck Allen's going to catch a lot of balls. Alex Collins is. Okay, this is the Alex Collins thing. I'm not even going to, been railing on Alex Collins all year. I have nothing against how he played, because he looked pretty solid at times tonight. It's just, this is the worry if you're an Alex Collins owner. They're not giving him the bulk of the work. I don't think they believe in this guy.
I don't even know if it's that. I mean, he actually salvaged his night, really, because,
I'll say that
he did have 3 catches for 55 yards.
They don't believe in him in that third down role and that come from behind role. That's the problem. He's not going to be the guy all the time. If they get down like this, Buck Allen's in the game. And Alex Collins isn't going to come in.
Exactly.
He didn't play for the last couple series.
No, and you could tell right away. I mean, as soon as AJ Green caught 3, like immediately. I mean, they caught 4 touchdowns in the first half. You knew right away they were going to just completely disregard the run game. So, I mean, Collins ended up with 9 rushes for 35 yards. Buck Allen, only 6 carries for 8 yards, but 1 was on the goal line, so he got the touchdown. So Collins, did look a little bit better running the ball. But, Buck Allen is, the preferred back to be the third down guy, the pass catcher, which he looked solid. But, I don't know, if it wasn't for that last drive where they're trying to make up, gains, where I think Buck Allen caught a couple more, I do think Collins is still the better back, but I think it will be dependent on how bad Baltimore is going forward.
Yeah, and he's still going to be the better back, but it's just kind of funny how in 2 games this year he hasn't been the leading scorer on his team at running back yet. Just, I don't know, kind of an interesting stat.
It is. And I was surprised when Collins did get 1 rush at the goal line, I believe. He didn't get in, but I was surprised when they used Buck Allen. I probably shouldn't have been, but just because I know he's also the preferred pass catcher, I was kind of surprised when at the 1 yard line they put him in, because
they did it last week too.
I know, and I don't know why, but I'm always surprised because Collins is by far the harder runner as well. But if that's the way they're going to use him, obviously you just have to keep that in mind. So it is worrisome, but I did actually like when he got the ball. I liked what he was able to do. Yeah, he was breaking tackles and running really hard.
See, yeah, he looks pretty solid. That's the problem, though. I just don't know if he'll ever get that full role. And
yeah, and you could be absolutely right.
That's kind of the worry there. Yeah, if they're ever down, he's going to stand on the sideline for most of it, and it's going to be Buck Allen. So, all right, I think that's about all I got. So, unless you got any more insights, I don't.
No, AJ Green is good. Mixon is good. Don't trust anyone else. That's pretty much what it came down to.
Pretty much keep an eye on Tyler Boyd. That's about it.
Yep.
But all right, that'll do it. We'll be back Sunday night, late Sunday night. We'll be doing some reaction to week 2 in the NFL. We'll talk to you guys then.